we got all these things that we're plugged into on a daily basis, and we wonder why we're not where we want to be. You wonder why you don't know what you want to do in life. Maybe this is what is affecting my clarity on what I want to do in my life. What's my purpose? Peace, love, prosperity, families, King Enlighten. You already know how I'm coming. Sharpen your awareness, KD Intelligence.
You will find yourself unconsciously engaged in self-destructive behavior. If you don't program yourself, life will program you.
Today I want to talk to you about the importance of unplugging yourself and reprogramming yourself. Yes, unplug and reprogram yourself. Since birth, we've been taught certain things, we've observed certain things through society, TV, our environment, our parents, but we never take the time out to really sit back and revisit our early stages of life. Like, man, I want to question that. I want to challenge that. Because all our life we grew up being taught, hush your mouth, don't say nothing, speak unless you're spoken to. Go do this, go do that. No, you can't do that. You should do this because of this. It's very important that we reminisce, reevaluate, and revisit our upbringing. Because in this world, especially in 2021, all these things that's going on, you're either going to be the puppet master or you're going to be the puppeteer. And I don't know about you, but I ain't trying to be nobody's puppet. I'm not even trying to puppet people. I just want you all to think, become more creative thinkers and a free thinker. So what I want to do is bring to you and into your awareness of what are the root and key things that we've been plugged into that have been destroying our thinking, our belief system, our productivity throughout 24 hours a day. Let's go to the whiteboard. So one of the roots that we have been plugged into, number one of all things, is programming, TV, television programming. Let's write that down. Number two, what else is a main cause and a reason for us acting a certain way? The influence from our environment, right? Okay, cool. But when we step outside our doors, what's the first thing we see? Especially if you're in the inner city, you're in poverty, or you in some suburbs, what's the first thing you see? Even when you drive around, you see what? Homeless people? Not first, but it's something we see, right? Homeless. PPL, we got homeless people. What else we see? We see people hanging around. What they doing? Hanging around doing what? Smoking and drinking, right? Or even probably hustling, trying to get $1. But a lot of people, our brothers, our siblings, our friends, just people in the environment, we just see them out smoking. Like it's cool just smoking and drinking, right? Smoking and drinking. Let's put that. Smoking and drinking. What's the fourth thing we notice? We see a lot of people, females, booty shorts, tight leggings, all this showing your sex appeal, your body, being flamboyant, guys, shirts off in the summertime, you're not even working out, you're not even muscular, but just want to show your stomach, show your briefs, your boxes, like you sagging, you all over the place. Women, booties hanging out, some of them wearing short top shirts, gut hanging out. We all over the place. So what we see, people that want to be sexy, sex appeal. You know what they say, sex sells, right? So we got sex appeal. We see a lot of sex appeal out, especially on TV, television shows, music videos. We got that, sex appeal. That's 4 things right there. I'm going to stop right there for a second. We've been so programmed into what goes on TV. Guns, sex, violence, drama. It's comedy out there. But other than that, you got adventure. So people be all in their head, imagine things, wishing things, but never put the action steps in to make things materialize and manifest. We have homeless people. And we don't ever sit down. Have you ever took time to think dang, why is that person homeless? What did they do to get in that situation? So you got people that's just out there in their situation, whatever the case may be, but they homeless now. They got to live on the streets. And that becomes a norm to us that see it all day, every day. Then we got smoking and drinking. Some of us, we may not be out there just hanging around smoking and drinking, but we go to parties, we go to kickbacks, we at the house, we just smoking, we drinking. But that's not the problem. I'm not trying to put that on you like that's a problem. What the issue is, when you're smoking and you're drinking and you're not being productive and you're overindulging in these things, now it becomes a problem. Because where'd you pick that up from? Since birth, remember, since birth, we've been taught so many things and seeing things consciously and unconscious and unconsciously. Things have been programmed, subconscious in our mind. The subconscious mind never sleeps. It picks up on everything and it doesn't know what's real or what's not. So it just, whatever you keep feeding your mind and seeing, it accepts that. and it brings it into your life, right? So you got smoking and drinking. You have sex appeal. We see all this on TV. We see that out in the streets, people hanging around, smoking, drinking, parties, music videos. We listen to the music. So we got all these things that we're plugged into on a daily basis. And we wonder why we're not where we want to be. You wonder why you don't know what you want to do in life. You wonder why it seems like everybody nagging on you. Why they trying to down you. Ask yourself, are you indulging in these things? Of course not homeless. You ain't indulging with homeless people. But that plays a part of just what becomes a norm. And you talk down on those people. And what you do on others come back onto you, right? So that's why that's up there. So here are 4 building blocks you can look at that you might have to go back, revisit, and observe. Like, man, maybe this is what is affecting my growth. Maybe this is what is affecting my clarity on what I want to do in my life. What's my purpose? These may be the things, right? So enough of that. What are the keys? What is the solution to really, get to that higher level? Higher level. It's higher learning. Sorry, everything begins with knowledge, right? So we're gonna get rid of this. The key to really changing your life and programming yourself is number 1, being coachable, willing to listen. That's number 1. Be coachable. I ain't know anything about a coach, financial coach, business coach, personal development coach, life coach. I never heard of these terms. But as I started learning them terms, I found out, like, man, it's basically finding a mentor, a role model, But we find role models in athletes, entertainers, right? But either way it go, they have interviews that you can watch. And when you sit down and take time out your day and you're not doing the other 4 things I did in an unproductive way, but you're doing it more in an educated way, then you become coachable, right? Next thing you have to do, when you're looking to program yourself, when you're looking to reprogram yourself, after you start to become coachable, I'm sorry, yes, like I said, you got to start reading. Yep. But not even reading, because some people don't like reading, right? Just start looking into information. And I'm not talking the news. You can get information off YouTube, listening to a podcast, watching, listening, reading, all that. So we're just going to put educate yourself. That's the second way, reprogram yourself by education. A lot of people after high school, after college, they stop educating themselves. They stop reading. They say only 20% of people that graduate after high school and college read only 1 book a year after they graduate. Only 1 book. Because most people think reading and learning has stopped after school. There is no more. Unless you on job training, new job hire, right? So be coachable. Start educating yourself. That's how you start to reprogram yourself. Now after you do that, the third thing you must do to reprogram yourself, you have to start tapping into history. History is the third key. Become more aware of how things have been set up and what are they founded on. So where are we going to start with history? Start with U.S. history, right? Good thing you can look at on YouTube is the men who built America. Start there. Because you live in the United States, right? If you watch this, you live in the United States, look at the men who built America. If you live in a different country, look at your government establishment, history. The fourth thing that to reprogram yourself, you must do. Meditate. You got to meditate. Why? Because all your life you've been watching TVs, listening to music, out in the environment, hanging with friends. You got profanity. You're hearing swear words all day. Your parents cursing at you. People criticizing you. You got all this stuff that's just attacking you, right? So you got to start meditating. You got to and breathe. Take time out to really breathe. Assess the situation that's at hand. That's how you start to reprogram yourself. Be coachable. Educate yourself. Know your history. U.S., your family history, so you can see what bad habits, what traits you might be picking up on that's causing your life to be what it is today. Know what's been holding you back. Look into your family history. Outside that, as your culture, whatever you are, look into your history. Go all the way back to the beginning. If you're religious, look into the beginning of your religion that you believe in. Remember, my biggest thing, or I should say our biggest thing, is we've been programmed, right? It might suck to hear it, but let's be honest. We've been programmed since birth. We've been taught how to eat, how to walk, how to talk. And then as we got older, we started to get our own little sense that we add our little own stuff to it. Like basketball, we started to get fancy with around the back, around the finger. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about that. It's about really digging deep and understanding that you may have been screwed up since birth based on how you've been raised and how you've been conducting yourself throughout life. So them are the 4 keys to reprogram yourself. You have to understand, if you ever seen the movie Matrix, or you haven't, take time out and go look up that movie Matrix and watch the Matrix. People, we are in a real life matrix where you have to finally make the decision and decide, are you going to be a consumer or are you going to be a producer? Are you going to continue to be programmed or are you going to be the programmer? You understand me? So the 4 roots, the 4 keys, 4 plus 4 that equals 8. I love talking about numbers. One of the main things I study is supreme mathematics. So the number 8 represents build or destroy. Now that you have this knowledge, now that you have become aware, you have the knowledge and wisdom and understanding to either build or destroy upon these teachings that I have just gave you. Understand that we are living in the matrix. And if you look in the matrix, you see the scene, right? Neo's plugged up. When he goes to the matrix and he wakes up, he pulls out the plug out of his head. He's plugged up. He regains himself. And he's flushed down and he's brought back out the matrix, right? And then he couldn't believe all these things. You know, he had to be reborn. He had to be reborn after he was brought out of the matrix. Then once they took him back into the matrix, what did Morpheus tell him?
Is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment, weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe? Your clothes are different, the plugs in your arms and head are gone. Your hair has changed. Your appearance now is what we call residual self-image. It is the mental projection of your digital self.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo.
You've been living in a dream world. When you realize you've been living in a dream world, you now can become free and break the laws, not the actual government laws, but you can bend laws to your own favor so you can be more productive. That's when you get things like the law of attraction, the law of correspondence, tap into the law of vibration. When you tap into these things and you actively do things, your life starts to change. Understand, you have to unplug yourself from all the things you've been doing. Take a step back, revisit, reevaluate, reminisce, meditate, and start to become coachable and seek other ways and other people that may have things. I'm not talking about envy now, but may have things that you desire in life that they possess, that worked hard for, wasn't given to them. Know their story, because facts tell, stories sell. I could be saying to tell you a lot of facts, but if my story wasn't authentic, you wouldn't believe me and I wouldn't be here today telling you these things and sharing with you what has worked for me and put me around millionaires and set me at tables with millionaires and find out the things I've been taught, the ways I've been living, and realizing how non-productive and how destructive they have been on my life. If I have not changed my mindset, if I have not went through the trials and tribulations, getting shot, getting locked up, robbing, hustling, selling drugs, if I haven't experienced these things or been around people with these things, then I would not consider myself validated enough to share with you on the things that it take to reprogram yourself. So now I see life totally different, from the spiritual aspect of religion, financial aspect, relationships with friends, family, associates, business. I see everything different now. I conduct myself different because number one, I was ready to be coachable. I desired a new me after being shot, after having a daughter. Then I started to read. I was listening to music, but I started listening to constructive music, motivation, inspiration music, and it led me to books. Then I started to question things like, man, you know what? People always talk bad on Malcolm X and Farrakhan. Let me look into it for myself. Forget what they believe in. Let me just hear them speak for myself. I went on YouTube and I started listening and I'm like, whoa, they just talking about us as black people, how we can get our stuff together and how we are harming ourselves and hurting ourselves and our future generation to come. And I rock, like, that's nothing but truth and knowledge they giving us. I rock with it, but they not teaching us in school. And that's why I say number two, to reprogram yourself, you have to read and look into things. You have to educate yourself because we are programmed and we are destroyed throughout the education system. It's not the same no more. Matter of fact, it's not even for us the way it's meant to be for us. Or it should be for us, I should say. So I'm not gonna keep blabbing on, but I want to thank you all for taking the time out to tune in and listen to me. I hope the knowledge I've given you and awareness I have shared with you today has been very valuable, and you take notes or lock this video in as your favorite and really apply some of these things and start to reevaluate your life and reprogram yourself and become a master of your circumstances and begin to build a recipe for your own destiny. This is King Enlighten, and again, you know how I'm coming. Sharpen your awareness, cater your intelligence. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm looking to reach 10K subscribers before the end of this year, 2021, and I would appreciate if you share, tag every friend in this video that you think can use this knowledge and wisdom. Again, peace, love, prosperity, family.